everyone, Vita's a 32 back with another deck review. Today we have the Bicycle Divide of a Nation. A bit long waited for me. Long awaited, I should say, not long waited. Just because it was on Kickstarter many months ago. Didn't happen. It finally sold it through another Kickstarter project with like 6 other decks that I'm not getting. And also via his website. But then there was delays in production, you know. Not Robert's fault, but finally it's here. Front of the box is Bicycle, Divide of a Nation point guards, and poker size on top, Made in USA on the bottom. This is by Robert Tomlinson, aka Barclay Mountain. Some nice dark red and blue colors on there, the American flag. So it's nice. Also the Confederate flag. I'm a little bit surprised USBC produced that, considering all the issues with Confederate symbols and stuff like that. But they did it. It says Divide of a Nation on one side and the other. And on top and the bottom, the Barclay Mountain logo and made by USPC. The back, Barclay Mountain Company. It says Barclay Mountain Company is dedicated to preserving the history of America. To find out how we can help preserve the history of your community, go to barclaymountain.com. And you see the back and face of the cards, and this standard USPC seal in black. And Bicycle trademark stuff on the flap, and this one, you get some stars and stripes, some US symbols, and just a standard tuck. There's no embossing or anything. Inside, we get a card. You can see they have a bit of a worn or weathered look to the cards, to the faces. This card has a list of Civil War artifacts you can find in Washington, D.C. As you can see, a Lincoln letter, Lincoln's top hat, sketches in the Civil War, this Edward Stanton's chair, Slave's diary, George Garrison's trunk, and the Potomac table and chairs, and where you can find it. So that's pretty cool, nice little information. And there's a little code thing in here, G7. I'll get into what that is all about in a bit. What I think it's about anyways. The back design is very nice. Simple. Kind of Riderback-esque. Especially along the sides. And then you got the some spades in the center within a diamond. And the US symbols. I apologize. I don't know exactly what those are. But I know they're like everything American. A lot of American stuff. And then the other card, there's another card here. It's got the Gettysburg address, which I'm not going to read through. You can probably, well, I would say almost likely you can find that online somewhere, Wikipedia or something. And then there's 2 cards that are diptych jokers that depict Abraham Lincoln and his wife sitting there. And there's Mr. Booth coming up behind him with a little gun to shoot him in the head and assassinate him. John Wilkes Booth, actually, that is. I'll get into that momentarily as well. I got all sorts of information on this deck. One thing that I know, and that I think that G7 on that card is all about, is that there is a coded message within the deck, or coded messages. That's what I think that G7 is about. This deck is a part of a Decoded History series by Robert Tomlinson. First one was Rise of a Nation, which was not Bicycle branded, but you can see the review on my channel if you missed out on that. And I don't know if there's going to be any more. This one's all about the dividing of the U.S. and some issues they had. The Ace of Spades is a standard bicycle. It says Bicycle 808 on top. It's a standard pip. United States Point Guard Company, made USA on the bottom. You can see again that kind of weathered look. Or distressed look, whatever you want to call it. And it also has 2 indexes in the opposite corners, indexes, whatever you prefer to call them. Much smaller, but that's nice. It's a 4-index deck. All the other aces are special as well. The Ace of Hearts has these stars and stripes. Very dark red colors. I was a little bit disappointed with that. I think if it was a little bit brighter, a little bit lighter, it would have been a little bit better. I'll explain why in just a bit. There's the Ace of Clubs with the Confederate symbolism. And the Ace of Diamonds, again, with the stars and stripes. Another thing that I noticed is that maybe the cards fit together like a puzzle. I didn't check that out. Didn't play around with that, but it seems like it just a little bit. We get to the court cards now. The King of Spades is John Wilkes Booth, who of course is the guy who assassinated Abraham Lincoln, the one we saw in that diptych Joker, sneaking up behind him and shooting him in the head. Here we got Mary Surratt, the Queen of Spades, who was convicted and being involved with a conspiracy to kill Abraham Lincoln. And the Jack of Spades is David Harold, who was an accomplice in Lincoln's murder. The King of Hearts is Abraham Lincoln himself. And as you can see, there's a nice blue background. And you can see, like I said, some of that imagery in the background. There's another code. This is Mary Todd Lincoln, Abraham's wife, and also the First Lady, of course. Abraham, of course, is the 16th President of the United States. I don't know that. I wouldn't know that if I hadn't looked it up. I mean, I know he's a president, duh, but I wouldn't know which one, because there's so many. Next up, we got William H. Seaward, who is, or was, the Secretary of the State at the time for Abraham Lincoln, and also a former Governor of New York and U.S. Senator. The King of Clubs is Lewis Powell, I think also went by a couple other names, and he attempted to assassinate this guy, William Seward. I guess he failed. Queen is Lucy Lambert Hale, not Lucy Hale, the singer or actress or whatever she is. I googled Lucy Hale and I'm like, wait a minute, this can't be her. Yeah, there's some other Lucy Hale, but this is Lucy Lambert Hale, and she is the daughter of Senator John Parker, and also was a Washington D.C. society belle, and secretly engaged to Mr. John Wilkes Booth. So that's pretty interesting, to John Booth. So, what was she, like the Kim Kardashian of the era? I don't know. She was a society belle. Then we got George Atcherot. I've never heard of before, but apparently he conspired with John Booth to kill Abraham Lincoln, or I believe that was the case. And he also was assigned to kill Andrew Johnson, who was the vice president, who became president after Abraham Lincoln was killed. These guys had some kind of an issue with Democrats, and they were out to kill them all for some reason. And it's kind of funny with what's happening in the U.S. right now. Everyone's all over the place. Racism stuff, and all this anti-Trump stuff, and pro-Trump stuff, and just so much political unrest in the U.S. to some extent. Next up we got, well, there he is himself, Andrew Johnson, the 17th Prime Minister, 17th President of the United States. Now I'm getting confused with Prime Minister. And he, of course, also was the Vice President during Abraham Lincoln's time. And then we got Clara Harris, who is an American socialite. So I guess he's the Paris Hilton of the time. And a fiancé of Henry Rathbone, which we'll get into. And her and Henry Rathbone were actually with Abraham Lincoln at a theater when he got shot and killed. They were like right next to him. Henry Rathbone, that's this guy right here. And he was an army major, and he was sitting right next to Abraham when he got shot. And he did try to stop the guy, got stabbed in the process, and was injured, wounded. The number cards, you get the custom pips and the 4 indexes. And again, you see, check this out, some writing, probably from, well, something important, something American. There's like map images. It's like one puzzle that fits together, I'm pretty sure. Of course, it's a bicycle stock, Airclips and Finis. By the way, if you saw my honeybee deck review, I didn't notice, I didn't mention that it's actually a traditional cut on that one. Not a big deal, but I figured I'd mention it in case you missed out, or in case you wanted to know. But like I said, bicycle stock, Airclips and Finis. You can see the faces are a grayish color, obviously. Probably noticed that, but white borders. Handles good. Looks pretty good. I like it. I think it's a pretty cool deck. You can get it from his website, barclaymountain.com. I'll put a link in the description. Very well done. I like his, his style. I like his decks like this. Not such a big fan of the book decks that he does. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just not my cup of tea. And I can only buy so many decks. And I buy way too many as it is. But yeah, it's very nicely done. I like that there's a little, secret coded messages within there that you can find. And all sorts of information. A lot of historical facts. Well, not too many historical facts in this one, but you can look them up like I did. And get them, but it's a very cool deck, very cool series, and I hope it continues. And that is that. I would say out of 10, I'm going to give this one 9. And the reason why it's not higher is because of this. It's something I forgot to mention almost. The reds are really dark, and then the spades and the clubs also have red colors within them. The same red colors. It's almost like a brown color. So it's a little hard to distinguish between the suits. I like to be able to distinguish between the suits. I like to be able to distinguish between the blacks and the reds, or the whites and the reds, or whatever colors they might be. In this case, it's a little harder to do that. So it's a very minor criticism. But I just think that would have been nicer if the reds were a little bit bolder or brighter. Like I said, very minor. It's an awesome deck, nonetheless. And I like it, and I recommend checking it out. So comment, rate, subscribe, let me know what you think. And I'll see you next time for more. Thanks for watching.